Hi everyone. Today this is an important first listen, I suppose, because it's to a band that has been on my list for a long time, one that I understand had a big influence during a certain era, and I haven't touched it yet. So today is the day I get to listen to the Sex Pistols for the first time. And the song is going to be Anarchy in the UK. Let's see what I have to read about it first. The Sex Pistols are an English punk rock band formed in London in 1975. Although their initial career lasted just 2.5 years, they became one of the most culturally influential acts in popular music. The band initiated the punk movement in the United Kingdom and inspired many later punk, post-punk, and alternative rock musicians, while their clothing and hairstyles were a significant influence on the early punk image. I guess I've seen a picture of them. Maybe it was when I was doing the History of Rock project with Carl. I'm not sure if I did, but somehow I have this image in my mind of what they look like. Maybe I should look one up after I listen to this. See if I'm right. The Sex Pistols have been recognized as a highly influential band. In 2006, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, although, true to their image, they refused to attend the ceremony, with Rotten referring to the museum as a piss stain. Well, some attitudes. Anarchy in the UK was released as the band's debut single in 1976. Okay, so this is early in their career. Well, not that their career lasted that long, but kind of the first. Let's see how it sounds. Okay, so what was this? 1975? I'm trying to imagine what the average UK citizen would feel if they heard a piece like this back in 1975. Okay, the music is kind of, I don't know, to my ears a bit dull. Like dee 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 dee. Okay, somebody's pulled out a guitar and some drums and they're just roaring away a bit. It doesn't sound that interesting to me. It doesn't engage me. The beat is the same thing. The guitar is the same thing. It doesn't really catch me. But the lyrics, and not just the lyrics, but the delivery of them by the singer. those first couple of words, right now, and then the evil laugh, like even before I hear what else is going to be said, I feel like, what am I watching? Some representation of, the classic devil with the pitchfork, and and his evil desire to stab you, cause destruction and pain. I mean, that's what comes out in those first couple of words, and the voice all the way through. It has this sort of sinister, out to do something bad quality to it. It's not just the accent. I can clearly hear a UK accent, but it's not the accent. It's the tone, and it's the way that he's delivering these lyrics, which are, kind of, they get your attention even if you're just reading them flat. I'm thinking again, this is 1975, 76. So it's going to have a big impact. It's going to jolt the listener, especially way back then. It's the only way to be. I was waiting to hear another evil laugh at the end. It never came. Maybe the recording engineer cut things off before whatever was said at the end could be heard. Maybe it was a bit too much, but it sounded like something ought to come after that. Well, yes. I feel like saying, this is the embodiment of what I see portrayed in Pink Floyd's The Happiest Days of Our Lives. This sort of decision to, all right, things are not going the way we want. We're unhappy with the way it is. Is this the MPLA, or is this the UDA, or is this the IRA? I thought it was the UK, or just another country, another council Tennessee. It's fed up with the way things are and the way things are going. So what's the answer? Anarchy. I want to destroy it all, blow it up, and I don't really have a plan, something to offer, but I've decided to be anarchy. That's my goal in life. Imagine what sort of fear that can inject into those who have put so much into building what it is. I guess that's maybe the purpose of it, right? Really get your voice heard in a way that stops everyone in their tracks. Right, so where should I start here? So, 70s, mid-late 70s. Who else was producing music in the UK? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is Queen. So, these were Queen's competitors? I don't know. I'm not sure how much competition they gave, but it's a great contrast, isn't it? Queen's music on one hand, all the passion and fire and social commentary. On the other hand, Sex Pistols and Anarchy and punk and the idea that what I find quite astonishing is the fact that, what did it say? Yes, their initial career lasted just 2.5 years, but they became one of the most culturally influential acts in popular music within those 2.5 years. I mean, that's quite amazing to me that this has such a big impact. Well, okay, on the one hand, I say it's amazing, astonishing. On the other hand, it really makes a lot of sense, right? Because this is sort of teenage rebel music. Teenagers growing up, they don't like what they see in the system. They don't like the idea of having to grow up and become a part of, perpetuating the status quo. Teenagers don't always, well, I don't mean this to say that teenagers are thoughtless or don't have a plan, but very often, when you're in that stage of life, you see so many problems and you feel so many restrictions and you just want to break the chains off, throw it all off, and free yourself from all this that's coming at you. And it's a tough time of life. And, you just want to be a bit of an anarchist, don't you? And you've got the fire in you. You've got the raging hormones. You've got the energy of youth. And so this idea of, we could just blow this all up, burn it all down. And wouldn't that be wonderful? What freedom, anarchy. That I can perfectly understand, even relate to in a way. I'm not a teenager anymore, and I wasn't even that kind of teenager, but still, I know the feeling. I have lived through it myself. Every single one of us has, to some extent or another, if we've survived the teenage years. and it's part of the growing up experience. Well, here, clearly, there was a band that gave voice to that part of the growing up experience. And it must have really been something that many could relate to. In fact, Vlad told me once about some kids he met in a train station years ago. He said it was winter. They were sleeping on the concrete. They were laying on the concrete as they were waiting for their train, or I don't know, were they camping out there? And they had the classic punk look, with the anarchy symbol tattooed on their arm. And he went to them. He said, it's not really a good idea to lay with your head on the concrete. You could get sick because it's so cold. And they sat up and they said, oh, you're right. That's a good idea. And he struck up a conversation. So you know what the symbol on your arm means? Oh, yeah, anarchy. Okay, yes, you do. So what does that mean to you? And, anarchy. We just want to tear it all down. He says, well, that's good. So what comes after that? We never thought about that. It's the classic youthful desire to tear down what you find restrictive, but you haven't really thought as far as coming up with a plan for afterwards, yet at least. Well, I hear in this music that attitude, that it's even more than an attitude. It's that inner feeling of I've got to break out of this straitjacket that's being imposed on me. And in classic fashion, as young people are wont to do, you do it in a shocking way. You present yourself as Antichrist, and you give this evil laugh, and you're the devil, and you're ready to destroy. And well, of course, I'm not against change. I'm all for healthy change, and I want to make that clear. And it's very easy to zero in on something like this and say, it's such a bad influence on our young people. It's such a bad influence on society. Like with everything, there is the microscopic look, or at least the magnifying glass look. And then there is the zooming out and seeing it as a whole. There are so many things, so many ideas, so many elements that if we look at them in isolation, they're dangerous, they're damaging. But if we see them in a larger perspective, we see what else balances around it and the checks and balances that come into play, and we could say what comes after anarchy. Maybe it wasn't the Sex Pistols telling us how to move past anarchy, but somebody did. And change did happen. Change still needs to happen. But there's always a place for every little element, every little movement in this wonderful, wonderful fabric that we call society, and the progress, which is not always forwards progress, but it's always progressing one way or another, of society as a whole. And, well, the Sex Pistols was part of that. And I've got to say, this devilish laugh at the beginning, that's what caught me. The music, it's not for me. But I hear the attitude and the voice and the music. It all embodies this so well. And that's pretty great, isn't it? So that was my first exposure to the Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK. And let's see what comes next. I'll see you soon.